Last night I was lucky enough to check out an advanced screening of the upcoming movie The Life of Chuck, so let's talk all about it. Hi, welcome back to another video, a brand new movie review. Today I'm talking all about the upcoming movie The Life of Chuck, which releases in cinemas across the UK on the 19th of August. I called it an advanced screening last night, so we are going to talk about it. Before we do, as always, a friendly reminder, these are just my thoughts, so don't let this dictate whether or not you decide to go and see it. You might see it and it will talk differently to me. That's okay, because movies aren't made to cater for everyone. Without further ado, as always, let's start talking about it. And again, this was a film that I was really excited to see. The trailer looked very, very good. I was very excited to see it in the cinema. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I just felt, again, very underwhelmed by this film. It just didn't quite give me the feeling that I wanted it to. It didn't quite hit the spot that I was expecting it to. And I think there are a multitude of reasons for it. I think one of them is because I was jet lagged. I'm not going to lie to you, so I felt like I was zoning out a little bit because I was tired. But having said that, I do feel like there are a lot of other things that this film did that I just felt like they could have done in a slightly better way, which would have improved my experience of the film. First off, essentially, this film is essentially the story of Chuck. And they tell the story of Chuck in 3 separate chapters. So you've got chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. Now the first chapter that they tell is chapter 3. The second chapter they tell is chapter 2, and then the third and final chapter they tell is chapter 1. So they start telling his story at the end of his life, the middle, and then the start of his life is the last bit of the life that they talk about. It's a bit confusing, I'm not going to lie. And I felt because of that, I was paying so much attention, making sure that I didn't forget anything, didn't miss anything, and I was understanding everything that was going on. Because I felt like if I didn't, and I missed a key point, I just would miss out on something later on in the film. And obviously, when we get to the very end, which is the first bit of his story, the end of the film is the first bit of his story. When we get to the end, it all sort of makes sense. It all adds up, and I'm going, oh, right, I get it now. I get who he is, I get it makes sense, but at the start of the film it doesn't quite all make sense. I'm going, is he, am I, nah, I don't really, well maybe. And yeah, I thought because of that I wasn't really enjoying the movie and sitting back and relaxing, because I was like, oh, is he, you know, just trying to understand all the details. So I feel like if they'd have presented it in a different way, I would have understood it and enjoyed it a bit more. And I do feel like the concept that they did and the way that they portrayed this story works for some films, and it is a cool concept, but I feel like for some films it works better than others, and I feel like it could have worked better for another film and didn't work as well as it could have done for this film, which is a shame. But ultimately, this film is a really wholesome film about appreciating life, about appreciating those around you, whether that be friends, family, loved ones, the person you're in a relationship with, all of this type of stuff. And I feel like it's a really another one of those films that reminds you to love life, essentially, because ultimately we only get one time round. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes some people are only on this earth for 20 years, sometimes people are on this earth for 110 years. Do you know what I mean? So it's a real reminder about enjoying life, enjoying everything that we have around us. And I feel like because of that, I did tear up and I did get emotional, and that shows that a film's done its job, because if you are feeling a certain way, the film has impacted you in the way that they've wanted it to. Fingers crossed. I mean, I hope that they would have wanted you to feel emotional about it, and rather than just laugh in his face. But you know, if you're feeling a certain emotion and you're feeling a certain way about a movie, it means the movie's done a good job. And I do think this movie does a good job at getting you to feel these emotions. I just felt underwhelmed because I didn't feel these emotions till the very, very, very end. And I sort of expected to feel these emotions quite a lot just by the way the trailer portrayed this film. And the trailer portrayed this film to be a very powerful, inspiring film from start to finish, and it wasn't. And there were parts of it that I did find a bit slow, a bit dull, a bit underwhelming, just because they sort of dragged it out. And I was like, I don't understand what relevance this has to Chuck and to the movie. And because of that, I was like, can we speed things up a little bit? So, you know, there are areas of this film which could have been improved, could have been better, and it definitely, to me, wasn't a perfect film because there were errors, and not errors, but there were areas that I was like, I wouldn't have done that. I think that could have been a little bit better. So because of that, the film felt a little bit more flat than I would have liked it to, because I was very excited for this film and it did feel a bit underwhelming. It almost felt a bit relaxed. They were trying to tell a really nice story, and quite a powerful story if they'd have told it the right way. Not that there is a right way, but if they told it a different way, it could have been a much more powerful and impactful story. But it just didn't, and it felt a bit too relaxed for my liking, which is a shame because this had the potential to be a really good film. Having said that though, it was a good film. It was a good film, and it did leave me feeling emotional and feeling more appreciative of life, which is ultimately what this film wants you to feel. So in that respect, it's done a good job, but I just feel like it could have been done better, which is annoying. It's irritating because it looked really good. But other than that, it is a good film and I did enjoy it. It just could have been just that little bit better, in my opinion. But there you go. That's what I've got to say on The Life of Chuck in cinemas across the UK from the 19th of August. And as always, before I wrap up this movie review, what rate out of 10? Will it be joining my collection? Well, I'm going to give this film a 6 out of 10. It was a good film. I feel like I've cut it a lot of slack. It was a good film and I did enjoy it. So don't take it the wrong way. I did enjoy this film, and I feel like I've been overly harsh, but I did like it. 6 out of 10. Will it be joining my DVD collection? Possibly. I feel like it could, but it's definitely not one that I'm going to buy straight away, if at all. I enjoyed it, but it did feel like a bit of a one-time watch, and there are movies that leave me feeling the same way this movie left me feeling, but there are other movies that leave me feeling it more intensely. So if I had the choice of watching one of those films again, I would watch another one that left me feeling a little bit more appreciative of life, if that makes sense. So there you go. Life of Chuck in cinemas across the UK from the 19th of August. In the description below is the movie plot, a link to the movie trailer, as well as a link to my movie review playlist. Features every single movie review that I've ever done. There's more to come very soon, and I shall see you in another video, and hopefully one of those movie reviews in a bit.